Okay, it is Ian Lamps. Welcome to a new video. I was trying to think of ideas. This one came off the toppest of my head, and that is to talk about some of my favorite scenes in horror movies. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to cover all of the good ones, so I was thinking of making this a series if you guys enjoy it. And yeah, I tried to be a little different, not super generic, so there's some on here that, are like the generic best horror scene when you think of it at the top of your head, but there's some I kind of wanted to dig deeper, maybe pick a scene from a movie that has an iconic scene, but pick a different scene. And again, there's still a lot that I could choose from that I didn't include. I believe there's 15. I chose 15. I'm going to play little clips for most of them. Some of them might be too graphic for me to show a clip. But just to show a clip so you know what scene I'm talking about. So these are no particular order. The first one I say isn't the worst or whatever. It's not a ranking. I'm just saying some of my favorite scenes. The first one I want to talk about, I just rewatched this today because it is snowstorm right now in Lansing, Michigan. It's terrible. And I wanted to watch The Thing, again, the original, The Thing, because it's a snowy movie and my mom has never seen it, so I watched it with her. I forgot how good that damn movie is. And there's two scenes, so two of the spots are taken up by The Thing. The first one I want to talk about is the scene where, forgive me, I'm not familiar on the characters' names, but when that guy stops breathing and they put him on the table to do the clear, and his chest opens up, and his head thing, that whole scene, I'm going to, again, play a clip, but that whole scene is just amazing. And it has some of the best practical effects in the whole entire movie. And it's so sudden when he does that. It's so sudden, and I love it. Okay, I love it. But another scene that's more anxiety-inducing than scary, and that is the interrogation scene with the flamethrower on the wire thing when he's testing the blood. Dude, the feeling that that whole scene gives you is just nerve-wracking because you don't know who is the thing, you know? And yeah, I really like how they make it to where when the blood that he does test is actually jumps out, it's while he's talking. He's distracted when it happens, and again, it shocks you, and so damn good. And there's good humor in it too. I laugh every time. With Keith David's character, when the guy next to him is the Thing, and he's freaking out. He's like, "Get me off this couch!" It's funny and scary and nerve-wracking all at the same time, and it's all like, dude, The Thing is a perfect movie. And I said this on Instagram. I usually don't like the phrase, if you haven't seen blank, then you're not a horror fan. But I honestly think if you have not seen The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, then you're not a horror fan. Okay, I'm gonna go that far. Watch The Thing, and then you can call yourself a horror fan, and I don't care, okay? But you gotta watch The Thing. I mean, come on. Going away from The Thing, even though there's probably more scenes I could talk about. Moving on to a movie I just watched last month, I believe. I just got the 4K for it. It was in my haul, my last DVD haul, or Blu-ray haul, whatever. That is The Howling. I can never say that word. The werewolf movie by Joe Dante, I think. I hope I'm getting that right. I think it's him. You guys all know the scene I'm talking about with the file cabinet, and she's picking out the files, and the wolf grabs the file from her. That scene is terrifying, and it again throws you off guard. That's my favorite types of scares in movies, are when they throw you off track, you know, and you kind of get, I'm like, God damn, I need to recover. Like, you gotta recover from it. And that scene it's so well made. It is so well made, where she's on the phone, and oh my god, it's amazing. Easily the best moment of the whole entire movie. The movie is, I would say, I know people don't like this term, but I would say The Howling is definitely a slow burn. And this is during the time where the movie's actually burning. You know, it's actually picking up some speed, and this one happens, and it locks you in, and you're like, okay, this movie's fire, I'm watching it, I'm locked in. Because there were points where I was kind of out of it. I'm like, okay, this is losing my interest a little bit. Kind of boring, kind of slow. And then boom! And I think it's at the perfect time in the movie, and it's great. I love that scene. I really do love that scene. I had to talk about it. Next one is another movie I watched recently. It was in my Christmas horror movie ranking. Of course, I'm talking about the original Black Christmas. Another movie I could put multiple scenes in, because this is one of the scariest horror movies I've ever seen. And it's between a couple scenes, you know, obviously the eye in the door, and him doing this, the silhouette of him, and just like the phone calls and the girl in the attic. There's a lot of scenes I could have done, but I was trying to be a little different. I picked a scene where it's not really a spoiler, because us, the audience, knows this the whole movie, and that is when the main character finds out that he's in the house, and he has been the whole entire time. When they're tracking the phone call, and I think during that time, when the phone call that they're tracking is the scariest phone call in the whole movie. Really good lines with the Billy! I love it, dude. And then, like, when they find out where it's at, dude, it's great. It's great. And then when she freaks out, that's when the eye scene happens, but I'm not including that, because I feel like that's its own scene. But just like the scene where she finds out that she's not alone in that damn house. It's terrifying. It's truly terrifying. Damn, I love that movie. Next up is going to be another movie I recently watched, you know, because I've been watching some damn good movies. I'm trying to get into horror, because believe it or not, I haven't been into horror for a long time. That's going to be the subway scene from the original Maniac. This is easily my favorite part of that movie, and I adore that movie. It was my number 1, I believe, in my November ranking. So go check that out. I absolutely love that movie. And it's a grindhouse movie. It has that feel. It's very slow but impactful. It has great gore. But this subway scene with the chick running from him is so scary. It's terrifying. Which is weird for this movie to be scary, because it doesn't focus on the victims that much. It focuses on the killer, so you kind of only really know about the killer. You don't really care about the victims, but for some reason this one you're scared with the victim. Only part of the film where I really felt like that, and she's just in the subway alone. It's scary. It's really scary, and it's just beautifully shot again. I love in this scene, I love how the score mutes in certain times. At the perfect times, it just mutes, so it's just quiet, it's just breathing. And it's really well done. It's one of the best slasher scenes ever. Maniac's probably my favorite slasher movie, if we're being technical. Maybe not favorite, but in my opinion, it's probably the best slasher movie. Again, there's a lot of scenes I could have pulled. I could have pulled the Tom Savini scene. Do you guys all know what I'm talking about? I could have pulled that one, and that is a great scene. But again, I'm just trying to be a little different, even though the subway scene was probably an obvious pick. Next up is one I probably can't show the scene for on screen because it's very graphic. And this was my favorite horror movie of last year. Of course, I'm talking about When Evil Lurks. I can't get over the dog scene. It's still engraved in my head. Spoilers, kinda. If you guys haven't seen When Evil Lurks, just skip a little bit ahead. I might put in the titles in the corner, so just skip until you see the next title in the corner. I don't know. But there's this scene with the little girl, and the dog is possessed, and the dog latches on the little girl's face. Again, another scare that's all of a sudden and happens out of nowhere. And again, I love stuff like that. That's what really affects me and sticks with me, are scenes that happen out of nowhere. Not like jump scare out of nowhere where you can feel the buildup. I mean out of nowhere. And this one's definitely out of nowhere. What's really traumatic about this scene has got to be the brother's reaction to it all. And imagining you're like, how you're like, damn. And then the parents come in. That whole scene, really. And the main character's wife's, ex-wife, whatever, in her house. That whole scene is amazing. That whole entire thing. You got the kid with the dog. You got the car crashing into her. That whole scene is so great. It's just boom, 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 boom. And then they're on the road again. And it's like, holy shit. That movie has no chill. When Evil Lurks is a must watch unless you don't like watching kids and pets die in movies. Well, not like, but don't mess with it. It's not like I enjoy it. Like, yeah, a kid's about to die. I'm not affected by it like some people are. So I always say that when I talk about movies that include stuff like that. Watch this if you're not affected by that usually. Next up is going to be a scene from the original The Return of the Living Dead, which is an amazing movie. This scene scared me. It always has. I never watched this complete movie until the last Halloween season, but I've seen bits and pieces when I was a kid, and I remember the image of Tar Man. I think I saw that scene when I was a kid. That scene is so amazing. It's scary. This is just what I've heard. I don't know how true it is, but I guess the actress's reaction was real, because she didn't see the makeup until the scene. They did that trick that they do. They did that with the It remake. I think they brought Tarman back in part 2. But I don't think he looked the same. I don't know. They did bring Tarman back in 2, didn't they? Or they showed him. This is the Tarman I love. Is that scene where she goes down into the basement and finds him. Not when they're fighting him. When the girl finds him. It's scary. It's scary. That image is iconic. That image of his face. Where he says brains. It's iconic. I love that scene. I love that movie. I'm okay on part 2. I know a lot of people hate that movie. They focus too hard on the comedy for my liking. But it's not a bad movie. Next up, I have to talk about this. The original Carrie. The final prom scene. They're all gonna laugh at you. That scene. I mean, goddamn. It's iconic for a reason, you know? This was there's another generic pick in here, but this was one of the generic picks where I was like, this is kind of boring and generic to pick this, but I have to. Because, I was already loving the movie. I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. I was already loving it the first time I was watching it. I was already loving it. And then this ending happened, and it made me adore the whole movie. And I just recently watched the remake. I didn't mind it. The 2013 remake, not the TV movie. The 2013 movie, I don't mind. As far as a remake goes, especially of that era, I thought it was really well done. But the ending just it doesn't matter. And then Carrie 2, whatever, The Rage. Carrie the Rage, that's what it's called. Terrible movie. The final act is probably the best part about it, and it's not even that cool. But the original ending of Carrie, to get back on track, is just amazing. You get the blood poured on her, and she flips out. I liked hearing the behind the scenes. The actress that got hit with the water, she got her eardrum ruptured because the water was so aggressive. People really got hurt during that scene. There was another person that got hurt. I forgot who. I think they broke their hand or something. They got stepped on. There's a lot of that scene is amazing, and it looks so realistic. It's not terrifying, but it's eerie. Especially when she's tripping out and everyone's laughing at her. Well, I mean, she wasn't tripping out, that really happened. But when it's playing that noise, they're all gonna laugh at you over and over and over and over and over. It's crazy. It's such a good scene. I'm saying that the whole video, but it truly is. Next up is the other basic boring bitch take. Or not take, but pick. That's gonna be the shower scene from Psycho. I had to put it in. It's a great scene. I mean, a lot of horror movie scenes, and probably horror movies wouldn't be a thing without this scene. And it made people terrified to take a shower. Every single time I take a shower or use the bathroom, I check the curtain. And I think it's because of this movie. I honestly do. Whenever I'm taking a shower, I hate closing my eyes when I put the shampoo in. I hate it. I get freaked out, and then I lift the curtain to see if there's anyone out there. I do that every day. Every day I take a shower. And I think it's because of this movie. So this scene it's iconic. It leaves a lasting impression on you, you know? And I'm not going to say too much more about it because it's so iconic. Everyone talks about it. But the shower scene from Psycho. The original Psycho, not the Vince Vaughn one. I haven't even seen that one. Next up is a more recent movie that, again, is going to be a spoiler. Because if you have not seen Barbarian, I don't want you to watch this. It's not really a spoiler, but I want you to go into Barbarian completely blind. That's how you really enjoy the movie. So if you've not seen Barbarian, skip past this. But obviously I'm talking about the first time that you see the creature. Mama, I think is what her name is. When she kills Keith, it's such a great scene. I remember watching this with my mom. I think it was my first time watching it. It might have been my second time watching it, but it was her first time watching it. And she got more scared about Keith crawling up than anything. But, yeah, dude, this movie really takes me off guard. And this first scene, this is my favorite movie of 2022. Favorite horror movie, favorite movie in general. And, it's such an amazing scene, dude, where he gets his head bashed. And it's after they spend such a long time getting you to love Keith as a character. I mean, you're kind of iffy on him because you think that this movie's going to be about, like, oh, she's at this Airbnb, he's going to kill her. And then you start to like them and like their chemistry, and then boom, 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 boom in that basement. Oh my, dude, it's such a great scene. I had to include it. I was debating on including that or the scene where Justin Long has to drink out of the bottle, because that scene's disgusting and amazing. But I decided to go with this one. So, next up is going to be another spoiler. If you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, which is my favorite movie of all time. I know. It's my favorite movie of all time. Of course, I'm talking about the ending. Again, spoilers. If you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, go watch it. The ending, the big twist, when we find out Angela is a boy and was forced to be trans. I mean, by her crazy aunt. That whole scene with that whole scene, man. That might be my favorite one on this whole list. Because again, that's my favorite movie of all time. I always feel weird saying that because, I don't know. I feel like it's weird to like that one that much. Like that movie that much. Because it's just your typical slasher on a campsite. I don't know what does it for me. Maybe it's the twist, because the twist is so damn good. Or maybe it's, I don't know. It's just a fun movie. It's really rewatchable. And that whole scene, man. I will say the twist of her being the killer, it's obvious. I knew it from the start. But when they do that whole twist where she's got the ding dong and she's smiling, it's terrifying. It's everything I want from a horror movie twist. And many movies did it after. I'm surprised. What movie was that I just watched? Oh, Fatal Games had a twist kind of like that. There's more too. Also, Psycho kinda did, but that was before, obviously. But it kinda had a twist like that. Kinda. Next up is going to be the whole entire final act of Child's Play 2. Where you're in that toy factory, and he's on the shopping cart, melted and all that shit. It's my favorite Child's Play. I have a poster of it. I don't know. You see that right there? I love that movie. It's amazing. I think what really sells that movie for me is Kyle. And her chemistry with the main kid. I don't know why I can't think of his damn name. Andy. Their chemistry is amazing. But anyway, that whole final act scene in the toy factory, it's just amazing. I don't really know what else to say about it. There's great gore. Dude, the effects are like amazing with the plastic and everything. Dude, I was debating between putting the final act from Child's Play 2 or putting the final act from Child's Play 1, where he's running down the hallway all melted and shit, because that scared me too. Also, the scene where the babysitter, I know it wasn't a babysitter, but she was babysitting and she gets pushed out the window. I was deciding to put that in too. But then I was thinking about Child's Play 2 and I was like, that's such a great final act. That ending is one of the best horror final acts ever. The setting is amazing. It's memorable. It has so many different layers, like Chucky coming back and back and back and back and back. And he just gets more messed up and more messed up. And they utilize the scenery amazing. There's a scene on a conveyor belt. There's a scene with like the plastic, melted plastic. And, you know, they utilized the factory. And I appreciate the hell out of that movie. And I would love that final act. Next up is going to be a scene from Friday the 13th Part 2, when the main character, I can't remember her name, I'm not even gonna look it up. The main character, the final girl, she's in like the little cabin, and she doesn't see it, but you see it. You see Jason with the bag running. You see it through the window, him running after her. It's such a terrifying scene. And she does eventually see it, but she doesn't see it at first like we do. It's scary. And I love scenes like that in movies where there's someone in the background and you might not notice it right away. Yeah, I don't think I noticed it right away either. I noticed it with the character and it scared me. I was like, "Oh shit, he's coming." It's a great scene. And it's a great movie. Not my favorite Friday, but it's a great movie. Next up is going to be a scene from Hereditary. And no, not the scene that you're thinking of. Actually, the scene with, again, I don't know his name. The son when he's in class and he raises his hand and his face is melted. It's a scary scene. And I think it works better than the pole scene, which is the scene that everyone probably thought I was going to talk about. But no, the scene where he's in class, breaks his nose. It's scary because you don't know if it's in his head. But no, everyone actually sees it. They're like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And they show his face. It's just scary. It's scary, dude. And then he goes, "Ah!" Dude, it works. It works so well. And then he smashes his head and he freaks out. I love Hereditary. And that might be my favorite part of the whole movie. Next up is going to be the final one I'm going to talk about. Which is a scene from my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. This guy right here, man. Right here. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. When Jesse transforms into Freddy Krueger himself. It's such an amazing scene. And it's scary too. Because you don't know if the main character is actually seeing it. I mean, you do really quick, but like when he's freaking out, I don't know. It's hard to explain this. It really is. He starts busting through the chest and everything. And as Planet CHH always says, and I agree with him, it's the scariest look of Freddy Krueger. It's the scariest look of him. And I think he looks the scariest in the whole movie during this scene. It's just terrifying. You're stuck in this little room with Freddy Krueger. I mean, it's just... And then the parents are trying to open up the door. It's a great scene. I'm trying to say more than it's a great scene, but I'm struggling. But those were some of my... just probably an inch of some of my favorite horror movie scenes. If you guys want to see this become a series, let me know in the comments below, or let me know by liking the video. That really lets me know that I'm making good content. And I'm trying to post more than just physical media hauls and collections. So I'm going to try to spruce it up just a little bit. So also let me know ideas. Follow my Instagram at ianlives_. I just hit 800 followers on there, so that's great. Please follow me. I'm on the road to 1,000. Which is crazy. I never thought I would get that much on Instagram. We have almost 25 on the YouTube channel, which is crazy. Not 25,000. Jesus Christ. 25. Also follow my Letterboxd at wehateian. And subscribe to the channel. Turn on that bell to get notified whenever I upload. And I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.